I, 38 female, divorced my ex-husband 41 last year after discovering he had a 2-year-long affair with a woman from his gym. We didn't have kids together and I'm child-free. He had a baby on me about a couple of years ago. I found out everything about the affair, the baby. He confessed after I got a text on his Apple Watch while he was showering. It was from Herb calling him baby daddy. He said he couldn't figure out the right time to tell me, which meant never unless I caught him. We're divorced now. Because I make more money, I work in tech and he's a personal trainer, I was ordered to pay him alimony for 3 years. Our state is no fault and I didn't want to drag things out in court, so I didn't contest it. I just wanted to be free. He's still with the gym girl, but he hasn't moved in with her because if he keeps his place and stays technically single, he gets to keep receiving alimony from me. If he moves in with her, the payments could be re-evaluated or cut off. So he's milking it. He spends nights over there, plays house, posts cute little park day pics with her kid, and then retreats to his little one-bedroom apartment that I'm essentially funding. He doesn't even technically pay child support because there's no court order because they're together, but it's clear to me he's using the alimony to help support that whole setup. He even laughed in my face about it. My money is helping him buy diapers and toys and post cute baby content on Instagram. It makes me sick. I never wanted kids, especially not his, and certainly not theirs. But here I am, forced to bankroll a child that only exists because he was a characterless man. A few weeks ago, I was venting to my sister over wine, and I said something like, "Every time I send that check, it feels like I'm paying child support for his affair baby." She got stiff and told me that was a vindictive thing to say. I think most of my anger is misdirected at the baby, but most of it is on him. I feel angry at how calculated this all feels. I'm left cleaning up a mess I didn't make, while he gets to play dad in peace without any real financial consequences. I don't see an innocent child. I see proof that he got to have everything while I was left humiliated and still paying for it. And maybe part of me wants that kid to grow up knowing their cushy early years were courtesy of their dad's first wife. Now I'm spiraling and I needed to get that off my chest with someone I trusted, and now I feel like a monster for even thinking it. The hardest part is that I chose to be child-free to protect my peace and preserve the freedom to use my time and money on my terms. I have neither now, at least not for my own fault. I hate this. I'd rather pay for my own kid at this point. It feels like I'm being punished for not wanting to have his children when he wanted me to. Am I the idiot? You are not an idiot and not a monster. It's not your baby, so who cares what you think about it? He's not your husband anymore, and paying alimony in this situation feels unjust. You're right to call out what feels like an orchestrated, organized scheme to milk you of full alimony. At the same time, he laughs in your face about it. And on top of it, your sister, full of self-righteousness, indignantly criticizes you for feeling the way you do. I'd ask her whose side she's on and say you thought you could lean on her for support. You did or felt nothing wrong. I'd be having wild visions of revenge. Your sister is an idiot and lacks empathy. This is not some charity that you choose to support or help vulnerable children or a struggling family in crisis. The ex betrayed you and caused you hurt. I would ask her if she was hoping to be the next to be his baby mommy. 3 years in a blink. OP, you need to put up blinders about him. No checking his or their social media, no calls or texts, no talking if you run into him. Tell mutual friends you need a complete blackout of info pertaining to him. There will be a transition period before you can put your marriage, deceit, divorce behind you. A therapist will be an appropriate and dedicated place to release these built-up emotions and hopefully allow you to focus on yourself and other positive things. Disagree. Get a private investigator to see how much time he spends at her house. The PI might take some training classes with him and they could share their divorce stories together on how they took advantage of their ex-wives. Then get a better attorney to see if you could modify it. Also, look at it this way. You get the last laugh. What's his plan when the 3 years are up? He has a kid to support on his limited income. I'm guessing the affair partner will move on to someone else once OP's gravy train ends. Just call it the price of getting rid of the idiot. And when you sign over the last check, say, "Good luck paying child support without my money." A friend of mine had to pay alimony and child support to her husband, who cheated on her and got his affair partner pregnant, and they were married long enough that it was almost a decade of paying. He ended up marrying and cheating on his affair partner. She ended up making way more money and marrying a much more successful guy. I, 25 female, moved to France from my home country of Sweden 7 months ago after my husband, 27, and I got married. I've never really gotten along with my parents. My dad had a temper growing up and would often shout at me and demean me. My mom was very emotionally manipulative, constantly finding reasons to argue with me and point out things I've done wrong, even being critical of my appearance. Meanwhile, my brother, 24, was treated like the golden child who couldn't do anything wrong. On the other hand, my husband's family has always been so kind and welcoming to me, and to be honest, they feel more of my family than my own. Since the move, things have only gotten worse. My mum insists on calling every 2 days, and we're often on the phone for about an hour at a time. She's obviously upset that I chose to leave home, and I do feel guilty for not being able to help around the house like I used to. She's always insisting we travel to Sweden for any event, and since we moved to France 7 months ago, I've already travelled to Sweden 5 times, which is stressful and expensive. When I go home, she's critical of me, my husband, and even his family. So let's move on to what has happened recently. My sister-in-law announced her engagement and asked me to be a bridesmaid. I was so excited. My husband was also asked to be a groomsman. She told us the dates for the wedding next summer, and we had no plans for then, so it was perfect. When my mum called me, video call, I told her because I was excited, but she just went silent and clearly looked upset, so I started speaking with my dad. Fast forward to recently, I travelled back to Sweden to see my family for Easter. During dinner time, my brother announced his own engagement. I was and am so excited for him. Later that day, we talked about dates, and he and his fiancée had nothing in mind yet. I said my husband and I would be available whenever. The only date that doesn't work is my sister-in-law's wedding weekend. My mum butted in then and said that it depends on venues and things, but that they would try. So I got a text in our family group chat yesterday from my brother announcing the dates to us. Apparently they all went to a venue and picked out the date together, and they told me that the dates are the same dates as my sister-in-law's wedding. Like same day and everything. I was devastated. I wasn't thinking straight, and I told them I wouldn't be coming, that I said the date doesn't work. My mum then sent a horrible message saying that it doesn't matter and that I'm being selfish and that my brother's wedding is more important to them and that I have to choose what is more important for me. I told her that if I had to choose, I would choose to go to my sister-in-law's, and she hasn't responded. Now I'm worried I've made the wrong decision, so I really want to know, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, this was engineered to make you choose. It's a win-win for them. If you agree to go to your bro's wedding, you're demonstrating loyalty to them and a willingness to shirk responsibilities to your husband's family. If you don't agree, they get to act insulted and victimized and rail against you for being so unkind. Don't fall for it. I wonder what your bro's stance is on all this. Is he just under the thumb of your parents? Is he too scared to lose his golden boy status to stand up to them? Or is he as mentally screwed up as they are at this point? Is there any point in talking to him directly without your parents' involvement? Proceed with your plan to celebrate your sister-in-law's wedding. Send your best wishes to your bro, send a thoughtful gift, go to other pre-wedding events if you can fit it in, and that's that. This is an important boundary to set. I really hope it doesn't become a lifelong smudge against you, but if it does, that's entirely on them. Disagree. OP, honestly, change your phone number. Your biological family sounds horrible. You found a wonderful family through your husband, and you really should stop those people who don't deserve you from repeatedly hurting you. You have something many people in this situation don't have: distance. You live in a different country amongst people who love you. Please don't let your birth family keep hurting you. I, 29 female, have been married to my husband, 32 male, for a little over 2 years. We've generally had a good relationship, but we have very different approaches to money. I'm cautious, budget conscious, and avoid debt when I can. He's more of a deal with it later kind of spender. It's been a point of tension, but we've managed. Last month I applied for a car loan and got flagged for a recent hard inquiry I didn't recognise. That led me down a rabbit hole where I discovered my husband had opened a credit card in my name a few months ago without asking me, telling me, or putting me as a co-signer. He used my social security number and all of my information. When I confronted him, he admitted it right away but tried to play it off like it wasn't a big deal. He said he did it because my credit is better and he didn't want to bother me with the details. The card had a few thousand on it, mostly online purchases and a new TV. I was stunned. I told him this wasn't just a bad judgment call, it was identity fraud. Even if we're married, you can't just open an account in someone else's name. He got defensive, accused me of overreacting and said, "We're married, what's yours is mine, right?" I locked my credit, froze all joint financial activity for now, and told him we need to talk to a counsellor, both financial and marital. He's furious, says I'm being cold and treating him like a criminal. His family even reached out saying I'm humiliating him by making it a big deal. But I feel completely betrayed. Marriage doesn't mean I give up my right to financial autonomy. Am I the idiot for locking my credit and pulling back financially after what he did? Oh, your husband is mad at you for treating him like a criminal? He is a criminal. What he did was a crime. You'd be well within your rights to have him arrested for fraud. So yeah, not the idiot, and I think you need to go a lot deeper than just locking your credit. Offering counselling is the best deal your thieving husband is going to get. If he keeps stonewalling and trying to gaslight you into thinking his crime is not a big deal because you're married, maybe you shouldn't be married to him. And perhaps you should be pressing charges because what the heck? I'd say OP should be looking at lawyers now and tell his mommy and daddy he opened credit cards in their names too. I don't think my marriage would be able to survive that kind of betrayal. I would never be able to trust my partner again. OP's husband probably already did this, but his family hasn't noticed yet. In my many years of marriage, never once has my spouse had his family reach out to me regarding anything in our personal lives, and that is a huge underlying problem to add to his criminal behaviour. He is a criminal, technically, not just acting like one, literally is. Fraud is a crime. Identity theft is a crime. I would not be able to trust him again. I wouldn't be married to someone who treated me like that. Period. You must freeze your credit because of your spouse. Like, say that out loud a few times. It's crazy. I, 37 female, share custody of my teen son Zach with my ex-husband Mark, 39. We divorced when Zach was a tween, mostly because we'd grown apart and Mark came out as gay. It was a shock then, but I made my peace with it. He's now remarried to his husband, Daniel, 33, who was the one with whom Mark cheated on me. He's never been anything but decent to Zach. The thing is, Zach doesn't like Daniel. He sees him as the reason our family fell apart. Over the past year, he started making sarcastic little comments about Daniel when he returns from weekends at Mark's. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes I laugh or I don't say anything. A few times I've just rolled my eyes and changed the subject. I didn't think it was worth making a big deal over. It's just venting, right? But last weekend, Mark texted me upset. Apparently, Zach made a joke at Daniel's face and Mark lost it. He said it was cruel and phobic, and he's tired of Zach being allowed to treat Daniel like a joke. He asked me point blank if I'd been encouraging it, and I said no, but I did admit I hadn't shut it down either. Now Mark is furious. He says I've been passively feeding into the problem by letting Zach be disrespectful without consequences, and that if I don't start taking it seriously, he might not have Zach over anymore until he learns to behave. Am I the idiot for not stopping my son from making rude comments about his dad's husband? Edit, the joke was, the only thing he's ever committed to was lying consistently. You are the idiot. You're encouraging and emboldening him every time you laugh and don't discipline a teen for being an idiot. You're both idiots, and whether the joke was phobic or not isn't the issue. It's if it's disrespectful to both of them. You're a grown adult woman encouraging high school behavior. Do better. You teach kids to respect their step-parents. I'm going to go against the grain, not the idiot. If your husband cheated with a woman and married her, most comments here would validate your son. Orientation aside, sorry your ex did a horrible thing and needs to own it. Have some therapy with your son and move past it. Living his truth doesn't entitle him to cheat and hurt you and his son. Yeah, wow, I lied and cheated on you. Now my son doesn't like the guy I broke our family up over. If he cheated with a woman, he had it coming. He came out and cheated with a man. You need to be respectful. You have no idea what he went through. This is phobic. Dude married the guy he cheated on his family with. Of course his son isn't okay with him. OP doesn't owe him anything at this point in the game. I, 20 male, am on active duty in the Navy, stationed in a Marine unit. My girlfriend, 19 female, just gave birth to our daughter about 2 months early. She was only 31 weeks pregnant. The baby is in the NICU but stable, thank God. I'm currently out in the field on a required training exercise. It's a longer one, 14 days total, and I'm about a week away from finishing. I'm the only corps man out here, so I'm the only medical support for the squad. I had already put in leave for the actual due date in July, which was approved. But the baby came early and I got a Red Cross message a few days ago saying she was in labour. I went to my chain of command and asked if I could go home early, but they told me I needed to finish the training. There's no backup corps man here, we're still running live scenarios daily. If I leave, they lose all medical coverage until someone else can be brought in, which isn't easy in the middle of nowhere. They were understanding. They didn't yell, but they told me I had to stay until the end. They said I'll be sent home immediately once we finish next week. I talked to my girlfriend over the phone and she was crying and upset. She said she felt abandoned and that I wasn't there when it mattered. I tried to explain the situation, but she wasn't hearing it. Her dad has been texting me saying I'm a boy playing dress up and that a real man would have dropped everything and been there for his family. I wanted to be there, but if I went on an unauthorized absence or forced my way out, I'd be risking non-judicial punishment and losing my leave and potentially hurting my career when I've got a newborn to support. I'm doing everything I can and I'll be home in a week, but everyone's acting like I don't care right now. I know how it looks, but I swear that's not what it is. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is just a really unfortunate and crappy set of circumstances. Baby mama is fine and not an idiot. She's hormonal and worried. Just finish your training and on the way back to see her, pick up her favourite flowers and food and go straight to her, not the baby. Actually, Dad is an idiot and needs to stay in his lane. Exactly. Father-in-law says OP should risk losing his job and penalties for something that already happened. Father-in-law should be glad OP has a job and understand that you can't drop everything and that OP has actual responsibilities. Boys playing dress up? Father-in-law is a special kind of idiot. My brother-in-law went AWOL for this exact same scenario. He regrets it still, 25 years later. Telling a Marine that they aren't a real man is hilarious, lol. Her dad is probably one of those guys who tries to act tough but is a pansy behind the scenes. Here's the deal. When you sign up to be with someone in the military, you must know what you're signing up for. It sounds like she didn't know. However, she's a teenager, so she probably doesn't know much about much.